Welcome everyone to the front nine, round one of the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship. This is the PDJ's final major of the year, and I'm excited to be here in Virginia playing two beautiful courses. Nice and wooded, long par fours. It's going to be some great golf out here.
Looking forward to it. I'm Zoe Andyke, and joined by...
I'm Paige Pierce.
And looking forward to this front nine.
So on this card, it'll be myself, sponsored by Dynamic Disc, Hannah McBeth, sponsored by Innova Disc Golf.
And next we have Kristin Tattar. She's sponsored by Team Latitude 64.
And coming off a really good win in
national
in Canada.
champion.
And last up, we have Hailey King, who is sponsored by Discraft. You can see young gun with a little personality here. She has a second place finish at the Rumble, and she's looking to get a big one.
All right, starting off on hole one. It's all of 243 feet. As you can see, the basket is a little protected by a tree. So going to go extreme right gap or left gap, but you do not want to go too deep. As you can see, there is quite a bit of forest and foliage.
Yeah, this one's actually playing quite a bit under par, and before we started, we even heard of an ace on this hole, so we're looking to get close and get a birdie.
From Plano, Texas, Paige Pierce.
And starting off our feature card, Paige Pierce.
So I like the way the hill plays down to the right, so I'm opting for a sidearm here, trying to use that hill to my advantage, and this is my felon out wide. Tiny bit short and hit that guardian tree, but it's still inside the circle. That tree's placed, 18 feet from the basket?
I believe so. Second on the card, we have Hannah McBeth. And, you know, the flags aren't really showing it in the background, but the wind had kicked up quite a bit. Most players are throwing some overstable, whether it's a backhand or sidearm. Just hoping to hyzer in there.
Hannah with a nice wide release there. Comes in a little hot and gets a little bit of a roll deep, but she's still just about circle's edge on the backside.
Coming out of Estonia, here we have Kristin.
And like we said, she's been playing super hot. Last weekend at Green Mountain, she challenged Hokum for the win. And she's making her mark here on this U.S. tour. This is her pure.
Looks like it was just a little bit of an early release, and the wind is going to carry that left super far. Looks like she's edge of circle two. And then we have the Hailstorm, Hailey King, to round out our card. Looking like she's throwing a mid-range sidearm here.
Yeah, this is her zone. Doesn't get it as wide as she wanted. You could tell in her mannerisms that she knew it was a little bit of an early release there, but still finding circle's edge.
And an open look for, a jump putt there.
Kristin with the longest putt, opts to just lay it up.
And that's good position for her par. Maintaining the ground balance, not jump putting, but just leaves it a little bit short. Paige putting for her birdie. Cashing in. Yeah, great catch basket. Great way to start your U.S. Women's Championship.
Yeah, it's always good to hit a putt early, give you a little motivation on the greens going forward. Hannah looking to do the same. A little bit obstructed, though.
Yeah, her stance was a little bit awkward, you could tell there, but just easy little tap-in, stress-free par there. And Kristin may have gone just a little fast. Getting into the first round, getting past the first hole is such a big deal, and she's going to take that 4 and just move on, looking to clean up the rest of the round.
Yeah, she's definitely a very level-headed mental game player. And so I don't really see that getting to her. She did comment to me, though, that, on holes that are that easy, it's a whole other element to your mental game.
And, that's really true. Moving on to hole 2, it's 595 feet. It's a par 4. Now, from the tee pad, you cannot see the basket. There's quite a bit of downhill in elevation and then right back up the hill. As you see, that road is casual, and then the gravel pile there on the left is something you don't want to land behind, but is in between circle 1 and circle 2.
Yeah, and like you said, you can't see the basket. you really just want a nice big turnover that is going to land flat because you don't want really any sort of cut roll. And that's exactly what happened here. I knew it was just a little bit too turned over with my Ballista Pro. Hannah's looking to correct with her Shrike here.
And again, they're really needing to know the wind game coming out of such a protected chute. You can see the trees moving, all the leaves swaying. There's quite a bit of kind of head side wind there.
Yeah. Hailey up with her Zeus. Played with her on doubles, and she really overturned this one. So it was nice to see this correction here. You see it landing flat and even skipping forward. That's really good angle control. And this one is playing over par this hole. Like you said, when you can't see the basket and then you have that big mound on the left side, it adds a whole other element to it.
And Kristin's leaving it out wide, so she'll have kind of a straight up the hill shot at the fairway.
Yeah, different play than the rest of us. She's not really trying to turn it. She's just trying to get it out there and have a more straight look at it. Hannah now with her leopard. I love this angle she threw. I mean, I know it's only been 2 holes, but I'm very impressed with her angle control on her discs. You can tell she's been putting in a lot of time in the field with her, getting to know her molds and what angles to throw them on.
Kristin approaching the basket. Looks like it's hyzering out a little early and even maybe into the woods behind that gravel pile.
Hailey with her buzz. She's about 260 feet out from there.
Putting it in a great spot to try to cash in on that birdie 3. And is this the Marshall upshot?
This is. I was just right in front of Hailey. Same approach, give or take, and I land just a little bit farther on the backside.
It looks like inside of circle 1.
Yes. Now Hannah from just outside the circle.
Oh,
ooh,
yeah.
Dead center.
Let's take a look at that one. That is a beautiful putt. Not even falling forward, even though she could have.
Full extension right into the center of the chains.
Taking that early birdie. Feeling good.
Look at that smile.
And Paige cashing in on her birdie as well, bringing her to 2 under after 2 holes. Hailey taking her time, making her putt. Also carding the birdie. It's a great score on hole 2. And Kristin will tap in her par. Never to be upset with the par. You're not losing anything. You're not gaining anything. Now, I've heard some people call hole 3 a, quote, signature hole of Lauriella Park. It's because it's kind of like a hallway of doom. You must go ahead and pure your shot no matter what speed you choose. The basket's in the direct center of the fairway, and I'd say the fairway's right around 12 to maybe 15 feet wide if we're lucky. Any kind of a kick is sending you into the jail right or no re-entry on the left. However, it's an open, safe field. And just taking that early kick off of a branch, as you can see, just barely off your line. Looks like it might have landed in the woods or just edge.
Yeah, right in the woods on the left side there.
And just an early release kicking right. This is a tough entry through the hole.
It really is. It's straightforward, literally, but it's so difficult. I mean, it's kind of what Kristin was talking about on hole 1. Like, same thing, but now we got trees on both sides. It just adds to that mental aspect where all of us can throw a straight shot 260 feet, but when you add those trees, it's difficult. And Kristin also told me that she's going for the low play here and just trying to skid it up there, maybe even throw it just 200 feet and let it skid and not bring so much trees into play. And I really enjoyed that tidbit of information from her.
Yeah, listening to how players attack a hole like this, whether it be a fast disc or a putter, I do like that low play skid.
It also leaves for less of a kick. You know, if you hit the tree and you're 12 feet up in the air, it's going to kick far. If you hit, 1 foot off the ground, it's barely going to hit. So she finds herself in a much better position than we did.
And putting up a nice second shot. well inside the circle. Should be able to cash in the par. Super touch sidearm putter shot there by Hailey. I think she's really close to the basket. And Paige jump putting also close enough to the basket to get her tap in. And this looks obstructed for Hannah, but as you can see, she had a gap there, gave it her best shot.
Little bit flatter and more direct. That could have found chains. She did have a gap, it looked like.
A nice par for Kristin.
Yeah, and this hole is playing over par, 0.44 strokes over par. I mean, she just picked up a stroke on most of the field and definitely some on this card.
Yeah, I think people can say this is a birdie to even a double bogey real quick type of a hole. Pars are even rare, but a really great score.
And when I walk up to that tee pad, it's exactly how I feel like disc golf should be.
Yes.
Holes like that are just, that's what disc golf is. I want to see more of it.
I can't agree more. Moving on to hole 4, it's 467 feet. It's a par 4. It's a wide open field. We don't have any danger, no bunkers or OB. But there's definitely the fact that we are at a guarded tee pad by the trees and wide open with nothing else. So you've got to know the wind and your discs. Make a good choice and pure your line. It is definitely uphill.
Hailey going for Zeus here. I love the height of this one. Just right at head height, penetrating forward. Good
Exactly.
overstable finish.
Not too high, not too low to just kind of cut into the side of the hill. Great shot.
Kristin here. Love that camera angle. You can see the determination and the focus in her face. Nice hyzer flip up to flat. And she's going to be right around where Hailey is.
Yeah, those are great drives. Looks like Paige is lining up with her defender here. Biofusion defender. Gives it some good right action. And is just a little further than both of the other two. Outside of circle 2 there. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's hard to get one up much closer than that. I felt like I really ripped on that one. The uphill makes it play more like, I would say, almost 500 feet.
And Hannah giving good action to that drive, getting all of the flight. All of these drives are great.
Yeah, and Hannah going with a turn there. That is her dependable long-distance driver right here. This is her Atlas. One of the few players that I know that throws the Atlas, but I think it's probably one of Innova's straightest mid-ranges.
I agree.
And pretty underrated.
Yes. And a sidearm approach for Kristin.
Nice verdict.
Just
Chip shot.
inside of the circle. Similar play for Hailey there, and nice and close to the basket.
Yeah, she gets the distance right. Kristin's going to have a tester downhill with the crowd staring at her. Not an easy putt to hit, and she's wanting a birdie to make up for that bogey on hole 1.
Lining up for her birdie putt. Hannah McBeth. Just a little bit short. You can see the body was kind of leaning forward. And Kristin putting at the crowd, cashing in the birdie.
Makes
All right.
easy work of that. She's hitting those putts pretty confident.
Slightly uphill and just a little bit off to the right side of the chains there. Looks like we'll be tapping in for the par right here. And then we have Hailey to clean up here on hole 4.
We want to take a second to shout out the Patreons. You guys are what's bringing this coverage to light, so thank you guys so much.
From the founders to the FollowFlight to the SloMez squad, we just couldn't be more thankful for this amazing coverage.
Hopefully you guys saw your name on there, got a smile out of it.
Hole 5, it's par 4, 650 feet. Quite a bit downhill. Now, as you can see the camera flying in at this angle, there's a mouth that you really have to place your first drive at so that you can get in for this approach or, upshot. The basket is in the woods about, just under 100 feet off to the right slightly, so you cannot see it from the tee.
Look at that wind flapping Hailey's shirt. This is such a good one to hope for a tailwind on. You want to be left. If you're right, you do not have a chance at a birdie. So Hailey, being short enough, has the option to still go sidearm into that gap, but you want to be more left.
And you can see, Kristin's throwing her defender here, and she gave it hyzer angle. So obviously that headwind is a huge factor, like what held Hailey's disc to the right. Kristin tried to make the correction, and that looks pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm thinking left, 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 and I just kind of turned my wrist at the last moment, and my defender just followed that flight. It is still getting a hyzer out, but it just traveled too far forward, so I'm going to be on the tree line, and not super stoked about that, but there could be a gap.
And Hannah also suffering some of that headwind turnover. So each one of the players a little further or a lot further right than they plan to be. Let's see how they can do with these up shots. Hannah's got a sidearm approach here to try to get in the gap. Leaving it just a little short, but punching through.
Yeah, not quite wide enough to get into the gap, but honestly, from where that drive landed, I don't think that she was super thinking that that was going to happen anyway.
A similar shot there by Hailey. She had a little more of a Spike Heiser sidearm approach there, but just left it a little bit short.
Kristin going with the straddle, step out, stand still with her verdict just a tiny bit wide, actually. So she's going to be just outside circle 2.
That was kind of a in between, like an overhand and a sidearm there with that angle you had to put on it just to get through the woods. That was a tough shot. Hailey giving it a jump putt approach, leaving her inside of the circle.
And Hannah dropping down to a knee, throwing her dart. Oh, just a little wide and hits that guardian tree.
Stepping up to her next shot, not thinking too much about it, just trying to get herself close to the basket. I don't know if you've ever tried those step-out sidearms that Kristin did, but boy, those are tough shots to execute. And up there right next to the basket, going to make it easy for the par look right there.
Kristin, she's so good at those step putts. Her timing is impeccable. It's something that's really difficult to master and to still get that push off in the step. And I really, really like watching her do this.
You're right. The timing is incredible. And Paige cleaning up with her par.
And this one is playing over par. So, you can't be too upset with the par on this hole. But if you get that drive right, the gap is very easy to hit on that second shot. So we're going to try to correct on day 3 when we're back here and be more left.
I think it's a really common theme for the L'Oreal Park course where getting off the tee clean really sets everyone up in our field to cash in on a birdie. But anything off your line is just scramble and do the best you can.
Especially on this one.
Check it out. We are in the woods on hole 6. It's a par 4. It's only 499 feet. But when I say 499 feet, par 4, couldn't be more of an appropriate par. These lines are only, 12 to 15 feet wide, and there are so many trees throughout the whole entire fairway, right, left side, and even in the middle. As you can see at the end, it curls around to the right-hand side. The basket is, you cannot see it at all from the tee. A lot of up and down elevation as well.
Hailey opting for her buzz here. Just a tiny bit late out of her hand and gets a kick over to the left side. If you are off the fairway, I would say the left side is better.
I'd agree to that.
Ooh, Kristin, St. Pro here. I absolutely love her mindset on this hole. She told me, no matter where I land, I find myself having to scramble. So I'm playing this shot super aggressive and just trying to get as far down there as I can. And I love that.
I played the doubles with Kristin, and we talked about this hole quite a bit. We had time due to a backup, and my original play was throwing a putter off the tee. But after her and I had conversed about it, I decided to go with a distance driver. I know she threw fairway, but let's penetrate, get up there, and deal with where you're left.
Yeah, and I threw, just like you were saying, putter, found myself a little bit shorter of her, and in those tall branches on the left side, Hannah went with the leopard and found herself pretty close to me, but a little bit shorter as she hit that tree.
Step outside arm again, really tough shot to get power behind. That shot looked unobstructed though. I mean, she's definitely further up the fairway. Off to the right-hand side, unfortunately.
And Hannah actually has a gap here. She's grabbing her rock. Oh, and just a tiny bit more turn. She would have beat that tree.
I wanted to see that one go. Hannah's been there before. She was my doubles partner yesterday, and we landed there. She knew the line, but unfortunately got a kick. Paige with a flex sidearm. Getting all the way up to the green. Excellent shot.
Yeah, pretty similar to the approach I had on the last hole, so I kind of had just had a little bit of practice on that. Like you said, in between a sidearm and a tomahawk release. Just trying to find the gap and letting the disc do the work. Kristin having to drop down to a knee. She was farther up, but those little baby trees are like hindering your shot so much. She's going to find herself on the right side, similar to where Hannah is going to be. And Hailey. So look how tight this right side is. And that's what we're talking about. You need to be on the left or you have no way to even pitch out.
I mean, she gave that her very best shot, but it's just too crowded with trees.
Now she can at least see the sun, where the green is, and gets out with her zone. Ooh, unfortunate backwards roll, though, and she's going to find herself outside the circle with two trees. She's going to probably have to split on her putt.
Hannah throwing a sidearm approach, putting it up high and trying to kind of let it lazy land there. And it gets into, just looks like circle's edge there or just inside the circle.
Kristin now to her knee again with her pure this time and hits the pole.
Draws metal. Looks like a stress-free tap-in. And I don't know if at home you guys are checking out the ground action with the roots there, but not every layup is easy. Quite a bit of things can happen to your putter if you're going to hit one of those roots. It can kick up and roll.
Yeah, great commitment on Hailey's putt right there. Perfect line, just a tiny bit high or low. And, she'll have to settle with tapping that one in. A great
putt for saving her bogey, actually. That was a very important one to take. And a birdie for Paige. Definitely coming up on the field. One, if not two strokes. That was a clutch birdie to cash in on 6.
Yeah, this is actually playing as the hardest hole, playing 0.75 strokes over par. And you guys can see why, It's very difficult. Yeah. Made for the scramble golfer, I would say.
Most definitely. Moving on to hole 7. It's a par 3, 394 feet. Now, this hallway looks semi more inviting than the last one, just because the tree population is somewhat not as dense. However, you've still got to nail your line. And again, it's a par 3, so it's a little easier to actually, if you're clean off the tee, get up there for the putt. But being clean off the tee means you are nailing a line that's only 10 feet wide. You can kind of hear right out of Paige's hands. She's disappointed with the release timing.
Yeah, a little early. I was trying to soft it through the gap instead of hitting it hard like Kristin's doing here with her claymore. A little bit high. She didn't like how it was nose up, but it hit the gap, and she's just outside the circle looking at a birdie.
Yep.
Or a chance.
She's got a chance.
And Hannah opting for her leopard here.
Looks like she pulled it just a little right. Kicks her back into just off the fairway, right off the tee.
And Hailey going with sidearm with the onyx. Just a tiny bit too much hyzer and a little nose up. I'd like to see her get another crack at that and hit it a little bit flatter. She's got so much power on her sidearm. It's really awesome to see such a young player develop such a great sidearm.
Couldn't agree more. It's incredible the power she gets on it, and it looks almost effortless. But her timing and the way she uses her entire body, it's obviously working.
Mm-hmm. Hannah's approach left her a little bit short left, and this is my approach. I'm going to be joining her over on that left side, a little bit farther up, but we're both going to have really difficult looks if we want to try to save par.
And not a bad hit there, actually, leaving her
Very
instead
beneficial.
of sailing. I don't know if you guys can see there at home, but there's a bit of a drop-off behind that basket, so that was a pretty good hit there. Hannah giving it a little bit of a chance and landing safely for the putt.
Kristin now with a 49-foot putt. Death behind it, just past Jonathan, is a huge drop-off.
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
Give me that birdie.
She doesn't even jump.
No.
She straddle stance. Look at the power in those legs. And she knew it.
Yes.
Amazing.
So
that is such a
athletic.
powerful putt. It's really incredible. And just the commitment level. Wow.
And that birdie's definitely coming up on the field. Very committed. Not afraid of the drop off behind. Just a little bit strong on that putt, but leaving you right next to the basket.
Yeah,
Clutch
and
par.
this one's actually playing as the second most difficult hole. So we're playing the most difficult and the second most difficult back to back on 6 and 7. And look at Kristin, par birdie, and that's gonna absolutely bring her up in the field.
And tapping out there for the bogey. After 7 holes, Paige is at 1 down. Hannah 3. I believe Kristin's at 1 down as well. As we move on to hole 8, it's a par 4, 404 feet. This one has a lot of right-hand turn to it. A lot of players, backhand players, are trying to turn something over if they're right-handed. Sidearm players are looking for a really great placement shot just to get around that corner and give them a nice upshot look. It's guarded, you guys. There's trees everywhere. I mean, I can't say enough about placement and being clean off the tee.
Kristin going with her St. Pro here. Just a little bit too left on her release. It wasn't,
A bad shot.
it wasn't
just
bad.
early, which kicked her further left. To scramble out there. Off the tee, what are we throwing here?
This is my Moonshine Deputy. I like the glide on it, and, disking down, going with a glidier disc, going around that corner, I found success in.
It was a great play, and it carried just around the corner enough. And Hailey, beautiful shot. Again, a slower speed, and she's landing in the fairway.
Yeah, that was her buzz there. And this is Hannah's Leopard. Looking for a turn, but not quite enough pop on it. It's going to stall out to the left, and she will be kind of in jail over there. She might just be forced to pitch out.
Our camera angles are amazing here.
Look at this. Beat that one tree, and
yeah.
she's in prime position, but it hits that tree and kicks her down to the left. Such a great angle on that standstill sidearm. Andy.
Wow. That was a great out from being in jail for Hannah.
Yeah,
Finding the
way down
fairway.
there with her
Yes.
Atlas. Kristin now standstill Claymore.
The crowd likes it.
We should start counting how many times Kristin's thrown standstill perfect shot. It just goes to show you it's about your timing.
And control factor.
Yeah, and that was a super unforced error, wide open gap, right where I wanted my drive to land, and just late released into the tree.
Hailey's getting herself up there just outside of circle's edge for her birdie putt. Yes.
And Hannah just putting one up in the circle. She doesn't want to try to run this. No business doing that. It's round 1.
Paige is lining up a long jump putt, giving it everything she's got. Just a little bit right. That was a great bid. Looks like a tap-in par.
Oh, Hailey knew it right out of her hand. Just a little bit early. Not quite enough power on that one.
Taking her time and making sure the par is good. And these ladies will be tapping in here. We've got a par for Paige as well. Hannah, great par there, scrambling out of that jailhouse in the woods.
Yeah, such a good shot out of there, and just staying calm was the key to that, I think. So we have a leaderboard check-in right now. We got Holcomb and Deanne Carey tied for first at 4 under. And they played the same round to this point. They took birdies on hole 1, hole 3, hole 4, and hole 8.
Ooh,
No bogeys on the front 9.
amazing.
Getting through that front 9 clean, that's the key.
It's incredible. It's pretty much all a player wants.
Yeah, and Holcomb coming off 2 huge wins, coming into this major feeling strong. And Dean Carey, young up-and-comer, rookie on the scene.
Love seeing
It's exciting.
And for our final hole on the front 9, par 3, 305 feet. Can't see the basket from the tee pad. It's kind of a common theme here at L'Oriella, but you must know where it is, and you've got to pick your line and landing zone. 305 feet is, sometimes it's a mid or a fairway driver speed for the FPO field. It's really about knowing about the kind of incline or decline of the side hill that you're going to get some action when you land,
Mm-hmm. Hailey going with her buzz here. Look at this beautiful release.
Wow.
Just so dead straight, and actually almost too straight. It doesn't hyzer into the pin. It just continues forward, but she's still, you saw, just at circle's edge. I'm actually opting for that left gap with a slower putter, just letting it stall out. And
It's a great shot, too. And I actually play the same idea there where we're going left. It's a really fair jump putt or putt action coming up that hill. Anything but right is great, just like that shot.
And now we got Hannah up. Ooh, clean release. Just a little bit too soft, and she's going to filter down into the woods on the left side, but she's actually almost past them, so she'll have a pretty unobstructed look, but it's going to be pretty hard to make that putt from there.
Side hill, huge straddle out, or step out, and she gets herself in front of the tree inside of the circle there.
Still a downhill death putt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she wanted that a little bit closer, but like we've seen in a few holes past, she's been hitting some good ones. So this is to save par, circle's edge.
Smash. Right into the
Boom.
chains. That's an excellent par.
Yes, it is. Hailey now for birdie.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
we like to see that, and that's good. Right now, Hailey could use that birdie, get some of that momentum going to go into the back 9.
And she's such a good putter. Just very committed.
And nice birdie there for Paige, bringing her to 2 down, rounding out our front 9 scores. Oh, excuse me. We have another putt by Hannah McBeth right here.
Oh, and I have to think that tree, being right beside that tree, some roots coming up, sometimes you get bad footing, and it's good to just reset your feet, make sure you have balance at all moments. And it's an unfortunate miss for Hannah. She will be carding a bogey. Rounding out the front 9, we still have Holcomb and Dean Carey in the lead, but Kristin and I are right on her heels, as is Hailey. So join in for the back 9. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you so much, JomezPro, for covering the United States Women's Disc Golf Championships.